And now for a little video recipe of sweet and squashy pasta. It's a delicious and healthy dish, perfect for people with food sensitivities and still irresistible to those who will eat anything. It's vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and sugar-free, but so hard to believe. You'll want to begin by preheating the oven to 375 degrees, then prepare the sweet potato part of the dish. You'll need 2 to 3 medium-sized sweet potatoes, that's about 2 pounds. You'll want 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, 1 tablespoon of melted Earth Balance vegan butter, 1 whole shallot peeled and sliced thickly, sea salt, and fresh ground pepper to taste. And you'll want about 4 to 5 sprigs of fresh thyme. You could have 6 sprigs if you wanted. Heck, why not? Go crazy! To begin, you'll take 1 tablespoon of Earth Balance vegan butter and melt it in a pan. Be careful not to burn it. Then take 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil and mix it with the melted butter. Pour the melted butter and olive oil in a quart-sized pan deep enough to be the height of a potato on its side. Coat the entire inside of the pan. Then pour the remaining liquid into a small container to be used a little bit later. After you slice the sweet potatoes, keep the slices uniform and upright while wedging them into the pan so that they'll fit nicely. Chop the shallot into thick slices, then wedge them into random places throughout the potato slices. Next, add salt and pepper according to your own personal preference or whoever you're cooking for, and drizzle the remaining oil and butter mix carefully over and throughout the slices. Step 1 of preparation is complete. Don't worry, you'll add the thyme a little bit later. Go ahead and stick that dish into the oven on the middle rack and cook for 1 hour and 15 minutes. While that cooks, let's prepare the other part of the dish. You'll need 8 ounces of gluten-free macaroni shells, 1 tablespoon of sea salt, 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, 4 cups, which is approximately a pound, of chopped organic butternut squash, 1 1/4 cups of unsweetened dairy-free milk, preferably almond or coconut milk, half a cup of organic raw cashews, 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, 1/4 cup of sliced organic onion, 2 cloves of grated organic garlic, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, 1 teaspoon of red wine vinegar, half a teaspoon of ground mustard, half a teaspoon of paprika, and 1/4 teaspoon of ground white pepper. While the sweet potato dish is cooking, you'll want to begin boiling water for the gluten-free noodles, following the directions on the package, and also begin steaming the 4 cups of chopped up butternut squash. Take the 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, the 1/4 cup of sliced onion, the 2 cloves of grated garlic, and the tablespoon of Dijon mustard and add it all to a blender. But don't start the blender yet, we're going to add a few more things. Add a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, a half a teaspoon of fresh ground mustard, a half a teaspoon of paprika, then add the 1/4 teaspoon of ground white pepper, all to the mix. Next, if you're not allergic to nuts, you'll want to grind half a cup of organic raw cashews. This can be a little tricky if you don't have a food processor or a coffee grinder. You can leave the cashews out of the dish if you don't have either one of these things. That's okay though, you can always snack on them while you prepare and cook. Here's a little example of the cashews being ground in a coffee grinder. Voila! Add it to the mix. Next, you'll want to take 1 1/4 cup of dairy-free milk and pour that into the mix. Now you're done. Just wait for the squash to finish steaming. It could take around 20 minutes or until the squash is tender, so it could take a little longer. You never know. It depends on how you like to steam your veggies. Once the squash is ready, add it to the mix. Begin blending slowly, building your way up to the highest speed until it's smooth. Hopefully, after the macaroni shells were finished cooking, you drained the water, then returned the macaroni to the pot. And after you do that, pour the blended mixture over the cooked macaroni shells and stir with a spoon. Scoop the mixture into a baking pan and smooth it out evenly. Now just wait for the previous dish to finish the first part of its cooking process. After 1 hour and 15 minutes, remove the sweet potato dish and decrease the temperature to 350 degrees. Add the sprigs of thyme and replace in the oven to cook for 1 more hour. Place the pan of butternut squash pasta on the oven rack above the potatoes and cook that for 45 to 55 minutes. That means the butternut squash pan should be on the top rack and the sweet potato pan should be on the middle rack. After 45 to 55 minutes, the butternut squash part is finished. The butternut squash pasta should be brown on the edges and hot in the center. The sweet potato pan should be done as well. The top edges should be brown and crispy. Feel free to cook an additional 15 minutes, it can't hurt. Whenever that's all done, feel free to pretty up each plate however you like and serve hot. You may also consider adding sun-dried tomatoes to the squash dish before cooking. I didn't do this because I can't eat tomatoes. If you're a meat eater, cooked chicken is also quite complimentary. Sweet and squashy pasta is a delicious and healthy dish great for any occasion. No matter if you have food sensitivities or if you just love tasty food, this is a fail-proof dish that will have your taste buds begging for seconds. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Take care of yourselves and stay healthy.